Hello everyone and welcome to lecture 2 of the Java programming course. Today's topic is Introduction to Java. So what's Java? So Java is a very popular programming language and was created in the year 1995. It is owned by Oracle and more than 3 billion devices currently use Java. So what do we use Java for? Java can be used for making mobile applications, web applications, various servers, database connection and many more things. So why is that? It is a very easy language to understand, and even a person with no prior knowledge of any programming language can easily learn Java and can implement their own programs. It is object oriented. It is platform independent. It is a very secure language. It is robust and healthy, and one of the most crucial things is it has a very huge community support. So if you have any doubt regarding anything in Java, you can just do a quick Google search and most probably you will find the answer to your problem with a simple Google search. So the main thing we have to learn initially is the Java syntax. So Java follows a basic syntax such that it is able to understand what we're trying to say. So it involves case sensitivity. Java is a case sensitive language. So if you type small l or a capital L, these are very different things. So you have to take care of that. We have to see how we write a class names, method names. All these we have to keep in mind while writing our code. So I will tell you this through a demo. So this is IntelliJ, our ID that we'll use. So we'll just create a new project here, new project. I did show you in this. I did show you this in the previous lecture, but let's go through it again. You have to select our SDK. So we select a Java version 16, which we installed. Click on next. We don't need any template. We can say project name. So as said here, project name. So project name could be anything. So this is lecture 2. So we can say lecture 2. It will create a project. Oops. Yeah. So on clicking this button, a tab will open on the left. We just click on the arrow and another arrow. We don't need .idea, we need our src folder. So within the src folder are where we will put our files and classes. So on right clicking it, this will open and we have to add a new Java class. So we do our coding within classes. So first of all, we have to create a main class. So how do we write a class? So the syntax we use is we first we have to write a word. So we can write hello, but in this case we have to capitalize the first letter H. This is the way we follow Java, and if you have to write multiple words like hello world, then the second word will be the first letter of the second word will also be capitalized and there would be no space. So this is the convention we follow. This is how we write a class names. The first letter would be capital, and if there are multiple words, we can the first letter of those words will also be capital. Then we can add some numbers 1 2 3. So this is a perfectly valid Java class. Yeah, we say class and then click on enter. So this is our hello world 123 Java. So this is our class name and this class. This should be same. This is .java. This is how Java interprets it. So within this we have to create a main. So we just type main and our ID will give us the full syntax. This is the syntax for the main function. So whenever we run the Java code, its compiler searches for this main function, and this is from within this is where our code will begin. And this is how we write the main function, public static void main. It's just how it is. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, and within this we can write our function. So like I showed last time, we can say print and we can say hello. So we can run. hello world, and it should run. It is parsing Java, it is going through all the steps, and here it print hello. Okay, so the case sensitivity with class names. So class names, as I said, initially has to be capital letters if we want to create a function. Okay, so within classes we can create multiple functions. So main is considered a function. It is a method. Method or function are same. So the first letter of those are always small. So here main M is small. If we want to create another function, let's say uh, public void func, and this is a perfectly valid function. So here f is small in lowercase. That's how we write our functions. This is the convention we use. Yes, with method names, we have followed program file name. As said, program file name should be same as the class name. Objects and class methods, all these are done. So this is a class. We can create an object of the class. So if we are following multiple classes, we can make an object out of this class, or we can use some variables. So there are some inbuilt data types. So like int is a data type within which if we store a variable, let's say a, we can assign any integer value. So let's say 5. So what it does is whenever we use a here as out a, so a is basically a placeholder. So whenever we print a now and we run it, we click run hello world, uh, run. Here it prints 5 and not a, because a is a variable and we have assigned it the value 5. So this was for the syntax. Main syntax. Identifiers are the names we use for classes, variables, and methods. So these can begin with the normal letters A to Z, or A to small or capital, depending on what convention we are using. For class, we initialize with the capital, or for methods and variables, we generally initialize with a small letter. And we can also start an identifier name using a $sign or an underscore sign. So like here are some examples. So normal age is a valid identifier, and dollar salary is also a legal identifier. Similarly, underscore, multiple underscores are all possible. But let's say if you start with a numeric like 1, this is not a valid identifier. We cannot use this. Similarly, if you use a hyphen sign here, we cannot use this. We can test it out here. So here, if you type ABC here, it will run without any problem. Oops, ABC, have to change this also. ABC run, no problem. Okay, but if similarly if you say underscore, yeah, underscore, no problem. And if you say a $sign, dollar, and a dollar, again no problem. But let's say if we use a hyphen, see here it is showing red color. That means there's an error. Try to run it, it prints an error. So this is not a valid way to write our identifier. We start with a numeric value, let's say 1. You can see again it is showing this red color, signifying that this is not a valid identifier. There is an error in this. If you want to write, you can write multiple pairs like a variable. This is valid. No red means it is valid. This is how we write our variables. Okay, then the variable types. So there are local variables, class variables, and instance variables. So local variables are what we write within our functions. So if you want to write a variable here, if we say integer a is equal to 0, okay, then a is considered a local variable, one which is local to the function. So now if we want to use a in main, we cannot, because this a is only defined within this function. We cannot use it beyond this function, outside this function. Then there are class variables, which are static variables. So these are the variables which we define throughout the class. So these are static. So public static int a and b is equal to 5. Okay, so this is a static variable and it is a class variable. So we can use it within any functions. We can use it within main, we can use it within function. Try out b, and then we run it. It is able to print b, which is 5. Then the instance variable, which is non-static variables, are similar to class variables, but we don't use static. We just use public int c equals to, okay. Here also we can say c, and non-static variables cannot be referred from static context. So since main is a static function, we cannot use static or non-static variable within this. But if we want to use it in C, we can use it in C. Sorry, if you want to use it in this function, then we can use it in this function since this is not static. And then comes the comments in Java. So let's say you want to work on this and you don't want to print this line. So what we can do is press Control plus slash. Then this is basically commenting. This double dash. You can also manually put this. Oops. Let's go back. Yeah. So double dash is a comment. So you can see this is grayed out. So basically a Java, when it runs, our program when it runs, it will simply ignore this line. So it is often very useful that when you are working on one part of the code, you can comment out another separate part. You can use it. You will use it later on. So that's how we use the comments. So that is all. We understood the basic syntax. We understood comments. We learned how to name our variables and our classes. We learned about identifiers. So this is all for today's lecture. So wish you a safe learning and hopefully see you in the next lecture. Goodbye.